independence. Could these things cost Bernie Sanders the election in New York tonight?
Look, we're going to win tonight, Aaron. You know, a week ago, he knew what the rules were. He said he was going to win. Tonight, we're going to win because the voters of New York know Hillary. They know what she does. They know that she delivers. They've seen her in action. And, you know, when he wins these very low turnout caucuses, we don't complain about the rules. We know what the rules are. We compete hard for the delegates that we can get. You know, I think he just is trying to set expectations tonight, but he came here saying he was going to win, and I don't think he's going to do that tonight.
Do you think those 125,000 votes in Brooklyn will matter?
Well, look, I'm concerned about that. You know, we've been ahead in all the polls, so a good chunk of those voters are probably our voters because we've been leading in New York all along. And I know the mayor's addressed this, the comptroller's addressed it. We want to see everybody vote and everybody have an opportunity to vote. That's why we joined the DNC when they sued the state of Arizona for the long lines that were there. Senator Sanders came along and joined as well after we did, but we want to make sure that people have the right to vote. And so if there is a problem here in New York, then hopefully the authorities here in New York will clean it up. But, you know, we didn't set the rules here. We came here to compete. And that's what we're doing, and I think we'll do very well tonight.
Now, you said you're sure of a win tonight. If Secretary Clinton wins tonight, John, do you think that Bernie Sanders should step aside? Is it time?
No, we've never said that. We expect him to continue to campaign. But what we do believe is after tonight and after the contest on next week on April 26th, we'll have a lead in the popular vote, and we'll have a lead amongst pledged delegates that will be insurmountable for him. So he's going to have to decide what kind of campaign he runs. Does he continue on personal attacks, or does he get back to the kind of issue campaign he said he wanted to run that he was running in the beginning? But that's his choice, and we fully expect him to stay in the race.
A crucial question on that front, though. You know, a recent poll, 25% of Bernie Sanders supporters say that there is no situation under which they would actually vote for Hillary Clinton. That is perhaps troubling. And on top of that, amongst all voters, not just Democrats, a new NBC Wall Street Journal poll says 58% of registered voters say they will not support Hillary Clinton.
Because I am worried about it. I am worried about what is supposed to be a celebration for the parties, for both parties. But what we're hearing is from the Trump campaign, these veiled threats of, you know, a raucous convention of violence, of threats towards delegates, and I think it's having a very big impact. Yes, some Congress people, friends of mine that I have spoken to, are telling me they're not going to go because they don't want to have to give interviews to their local press and say and explain what is happening on that floor. They don't want to have to give interviews about the immigration views of the possible nominee or the
do you feel like
views
Paul
on
Ryan
choice.
Does, though, when he uses the word "our party"? Do you feel our party? Do you feel you will support that nominee even if it is Donald Trump?
I'm not jumping off that bridge yet. Yeah, quite yet. And
so if anybody watches this, this lady is helping promote the blocking of the freedom of speech of the people that's going to be on that floor voting.
Mayor Nutter, what do you make of those numbers? Because it's not just the numbers in terms of moderate and conservative on the Republican side tonight. We're also seeing only 23% is white born-again evangelicals, 77% did not. Now, Donald Trump's done fine among white evangelicals, but better among those who are not, and that is certainly how this electorate skews here in New York tonight.
Well, there's no question about it. And he, I think it goes back to something someone said earlier. I mean, he is still a pretty divisive individual. And the question is, what do those evangelicals ultimately do? Are they not going to the convention? Are they not voting? Are they just going to sit it out if Donald Trump is the Republican nominee? It remains to be seen.
Yes.
You raise a really important point, though, looking at that exit poll, right? I mean, you know, the idea of a New York Republican seems absurd, but it is actually a lost tradition, the Northeast Republican, and it's highly distinct. And the fact that, you know, Ted Cruz came out and said that there was a reset after Wisconsin, he wasn't looking at the states coming up because this Northeast corridor is going to value center-right Republicans, voters who are not on the far right. That is a better ground than it is for Donald Trump than it is for Ted Cruz. This is not Cruz country. Kasich will come in a strong second, and Cruz will be a distant third, and this will continue for the next week or so.
And Dan, on that point that John just raises, how significant is that if you see Donald Trump come in first tonight, John Kasich second, and Ted Cruz third? What does that do to Ted Cruz?
Truthfully, I would be surprised if that doesn't happen. Yeah, it's the way the polls have been going up until now, and the expectation is that John Kasich does come in second. The question is how high, whether he reaches the threshold that will give him some delegates or not. If Ted Cruz surpasses him and actually comes in second, and more importantly gets more delegates statewide, because as we talked